I know math might seem a little stressful right now. We just got a lot going on right now. You have 25 days left, and I know some of you are not used to working and studying math every night, but right now we need to. After we get back from spring break, it won't be as stressful. But right now to Friday, you got a lot going on. If you hadn't watched those videos, you need to be watching some videos. Because I split this test into 2 tests this year. One to test the first 2 and one to test the bottom 2. Because last year when I put all 4 of them, it was a disaster. Number 1. We want to find the center and the radius of the circle. Is it in standard form, guys? Is that in standard form? Yes, Reese, what's my center of that circle?
Negative 3, 6.
Negative 3, 6. Very good. What's my radius, Sean? You don't know the radius there? Okay. What's my radius there, Greg?
5.
5. You take the square root of that. That is 5. So if I was to graph that, negative 3, 6. Negative 3, 6, I will go to place to put my center. And then I will go 5 units east, west, north, and south, okay? You say, Mr. Chester, what if it was the square root of, let's say there was a 10 right here. And I don't know the square root of 10. Well, that's some decimal, like 3 point something. You would just estimate like 3.2. Go up 3.2 from this side, that side. And you might have one on the quiz. That's why I'm going over there, okay? So you just estimate. All right, number 2. Is that in standard form, Gracie? Yes. What's your center there, huh? 2 zeros, opposite of what you think. It's 2, 0. Very good. I know this is 0 because there's no parentheses there. So my center is 2, 0. My radius would be what, Max?
Square root of 14.
Square root of 14, which would be approximately 3.8, somewhere in there. Okay, but you just put square root of 14. Only do 3.8 if you've got to draw it, okay? And you don't have to draw them all tomorrow. Okay, number 3. Is that in standard form there, Kira? No, we need to get that in standard form. Now, you got to check 2 things. You want a 1 to be in front of that x squared and y squared. Is there a 1? Yeah, if there wasn't, you would have to divide by something, whatever goes into all of them, okay? But since there's 1, that's good, okay? So let's look at how we would do this. We got to complete the square on this one. Number 3. So I'm going to group my x's together. And I'm going to bring that 13 over as a negative 13. Conley, if y'all ever do not see it, just tell me hey, we can't see it. You just tell me. All right. I brought that 13 over as a negative 13. Okay, we're going to take half of negative 4, which is what, guys? Square it, that gives you what? 4. Very good. If I add 4 here, I'm going to do what over here? Very good. Take half of 10 is? 5 squared is? And add 25 here as well. Now I'm going to factor that. That would be x minus 2 squared plus y plus 5 squared. I'm going to add that up. Negative 9, that gives me 16. What's my center now? You can tell me the center. 2, negative 5, and my radius is what? 4. Very good. Okay, so that's the first part of your quiz tomorrow. The next part of your quiz is like the bottom part, number 4. Could you easily write an equation for 4 and 5? Yes, because they tell you the center and the radius. For this one, it would be x what? Plus 1 squared plus 4 squared equals 64. Here, how would you write this one? X squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 6. Because when you square that, the square root and the square cancels out, doesn't it? Okay. Let's look at number 7. It says the center's at 2, 7, okay? So that's the easy part. So x minus 2 squared plus y minus 7 squared. Now we've got to find our radius. Okay, you can either draw a picture or think about it. Okay, the center would be, okay, at 2, 7. And I pass to 4, 7. How many units is that away? 2. Do you see that? When it says passes through, that means that sometimes you have to draw it. Don't be ashamed to draw that tomorrow. The stretcher has to draw something so you can visually see it. So it's 2 units away, so 2 squared is what? 4. Do you understand that? So I will put 4 here.
On those, if you use the distance from
Yes, you could. Yes. More complicated ones you could do this for them. Let me show. Yes. Yeah. You could do distance equals 4 minus 2 squared plus 7 minus 7 squared. Get 2 squared plus 0 squared. It works every time. Alright, now, the center is 8, negative 3 and tangent to the x-axis. Okay? So I'm going to write x minus 8 squared plus y plus 3 squared. Yep. Equals. Now, when it says tangent to something, that means it's what? Touching it. Touching the x-axis. So, I'm at 8, negative 3. 8, negative 3. I'm down 3. How far am I from the x-axis? 3 units. Do you see that? If you can't draw it, you can see it, okay? Because if I'm at negative 3 and I'm going up to the x, that's 1, 2, 3 units. I'm back to the x-axis. Do you see that? So what's 3 squared? 9. Now what if it says tangent to, like, let's say a y equals 3 graph? Is that a horizontal or vertical line? Horizontal. What if it said x equals 5? That's a what line? Do y'all see that? I'm going to give you this square. I don't know what you think for me. What if I said a circle passes through these 2 points? I didn't give you the center. I didn't give you the radius. How would you find the center? If I just say it passes through these 2 points, the diameter passes through these 2 points. You can find the distance divided by 2. That will give you a what? Radius. Now, how would you find your center? Midpoint point.
And what is, will you find out the midpoint point?
Midpoint formula is x plus x over 2, comma, y plus y over 2. It is like x sub 1 plus x sub 2. I don't ever remember that because isn't addition commutative? I just remember x plus x over 2, comma, y plus y over 2. And midpoint is a point. That's why it's in order of pair. Okay? Any questions on that? Alright, let's talk about quickly. That's what your quiz is on tomorrow. I just want to talk about these diagrams for a minute. That was in your notes. Okay, ellipses. First of all, ellipses are always set, the equations are always set equal to what? 1. Always set equal to 1, okay? It can be a horizontal orientation where you see how the longer area is over the x-axis, or vertical where it's over the y, okay? Now, A and B tells you which, if it's horizontal or vertical, okay? If your larger value is under the parentheses with the x, then that means it's horizontal. If the larger value is under the parentheses with the y, it's vertical, okay? A squared is always dealing with the major axis, okay? B squared deals with the minor axis. Are we good there? Now let's talk about what A and B are. Okay. A is on the major axis. It's the distance from the center to one of the vertices, okay? To get A squared, you square that number, okay? B is on the minor axis. It's the distance between the center and to one of the vertices, okay? Does everybody understand that? Alright. What makes an ellipse is it has 2 points called the singular is focus, plural is foci. Foci. You have 2, and the foci are always on the major axis. Always. So you need that information. Foci is always on the major axis. It falls between the center and the vertex on the major axis. And what's neat about this, if you were to pick some point on this ellipse, this point, find the distance from this focus and this focus, it always equals the length of the major axis. Always, okay? So you do need to know the foci equation, c squared equals a squared minus b squared. Okay? Now, let's look at our homework. Number 16. I went ahead and worked it out so we could go slowly through this. Like I said, I'm not going through all those examples. You can rewatch a video. Number 16. You have this problem. X minus 2 squared over 9 plus y minus 1 squared over 4 equals 1. First thing I check, is it set equal to 1? Yes. That's in standard position. Not standard position, standard form. Standard form. Alright. Now, Where is the bigger number under the parentheses with the X or the Y? So that means it's a horizontal orientation. If you need to write that word down somewhere, you can. Horizontal. Then what I do is I write my centers just like the circle. It's opposite of what you see. I see a -2, I put a +2. I see a -1, I put a +1. That is the center. Then I identify my A. My A squared is always the larger value. 9 is larger than 4. My A squared is 9. Therefore, my A value is the ±3 because you're going to go right 3 and left 3. My B is the lesser value. My minor axis, which is 4, take the square, that's ±2. Guys, I don't do my vertices till I graph it because if the center is not at the origin, it's kind of hard to see the vertices till after you graph it, okay? So I always do my vertices at the end. So what I do is I graph my center, 2, 1. Then I go to my A. Okay. That means, +9 means I'm going to go, since it's horizontal, I'm going to go right 3, left 3, and put 2 points. Those are known as vertices. I write those two things down, and that's where I got -1, 1, and 5, 1. My minor would be vertical. I'm going to go up 2, down 2, and that's where I got those two. Does that make sense? Okay. Number 17. The first thing that caught my attention, it was not set equal to 1. So to get it set equal to 1, you always take the number here and divide everything by that, because anything divided by itself is 1, isn't it? So 100 divided by 100 is 1. When I have 25 divided by 100, I can reduce that fraction to 1 over 4. 4 over 100 is 1 over 25. Okay, yes.
Is it always going to be like reversed like that?
Oh, what you mean?
So there's like there's that way on a couple problems on the homework.
Like always dividing by
The
this?
X, well, the X is the same number that's before the Y.
No, it's not always, but it's sometimes going to happen. Alright, so now you look at this, and the number under the Y, first of all, what's your center? Your center is what? Because you don't have any parentheses. Okay, next thing that catches my eye is the larger numbers on the Y, so that means it's going to have a vertical orientation. Okay? Minor will be the x-axis. So my A squared is 25. I take the square root, that's ±5. My B squared value is 4. Take the square root, that's ±2. So I plot my center first. Since my Y, since it's going to be a vertical orientation, my Y, I will go up 5 and down 5, and I write my vertices. Since my horizontal is minor, I'm going to go to my B value, go right 2, left 2, and I write my vertices. Okay. Are there any questions 16 and 17? The second part of this lesson is hard. This is the easy part of the lesson, and that's why I didn't do the whole lesson with you yet, because I got to be there for you on the next thing. The circles and ellipses are my favorite out of these units. Hyperbolas and parabolas are a little challenging. And we start hyperbolas when we get back from spring break. Alright, on number 18, the format was this right here. What caught my attention was it was not set equal to 1. So I divided everything by 16. By 16. When I did that, 16 divided by 16 is 1. I can't simplify those fractions, can I? That's fine. What catches my attention next, the center is -3, 2. Then the second thing catches my attention, the 16 is the large number under the parentheses with the X. So will this have a horizontal or vertical orientation? Horizontal. So your major axis will be on the horizontal. Okay? So A squared is 16. Take the square root, that's ±4. That means I'm going to plot my center, go right or left 4 units. My minor is 4. Take the square root, ±2. Plotted it, went right 4, left 4, up 2, down 2. And that is my graph. Ooh. Number 19 is a good one, guys. You will have one like this on your test. Now, you know on circles, this is what I don't want you to get confused. On circles, if the number in front of x squared was not 1, then we just try to divide everything through by a number different. Well, that doesn't happen in ellipses because is there a single number that will go into all those numbers? No, you can't do that. So you got to be creative. Okay. So what I did was I do got a completed square. This completed square is a little bit more complicated. I group my x's together. I group my y's together, and I put that negative 164 on the other side. Before you complete the square, though, this number has to be 1. And I look, what number can I take out of both of those? 9. Once I do that, then you can follow the traditional completing square. I take half of negative 4, which is 2. I square that. 2 squared is 4. He said, Mr. Chester, why don't you just add a 4? Because I have a 9 out here. You've got to multiply 4 times 9 and add 36. You can't just add a 4. Do you see that? That's the only time you do that. Here, I take a 25 out. I'm left with 2. Half of 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 times 25 is 25. When I do that, I get 225. Well, now that combines something else. That's not set equal to 1. So now I got to divide everything by 225. Thank goodness. I will never give you one that doesn't work out. Simplify that. That's 25. That leaves 9 equals 1. And from there, it is easy. Your center is 2, negative 1. My larger values under my x, so that's going to be a horizontal orientation. My a would be equal to plus or minus 5. My b squared is 9. b equals plus or minus 3. And I would just graph it from there. Here we go. Are there any questions on how we have 3 learning charts? We just reviewed the first 2. I can identify the center and vertices. Are we good on that? I need a hand signal. Are we good on graphing them? Today and tomorrow we're going to focus on writing the equations. Okay, so turn to page 4 in your notes. All right, number 7. I want you to look at number 7, 8, see how they set up. Do you see how they got your vertices at like 4, 0, negative 4, 0, 0, 5, 0, negative 5, and over here 6, 0, negative 6, 0, 0, 4, 0, negative 4. Where do you think the center of this ellipse is? Is 0, 0. When you have stuff like that, you can just go and know the center's at 0, 0, okay? So I'm going to put x squared plus y squared equals 1. And because the center's at 0, 0, I don't have to put a parentheses. Now, remember your a value is the a and b value is the number from your center to one of the vertices. Okay, this is on your horizontal and this is on your vertical. So is this a horizontal orientation or vertical? Which one's larger? So your larger number will go under what? Y squared. Do you see that? So what is your a value equal to here? A is equal to 5. A equals to 5. Therefore, a squared is what? So I'm going to put 25 under y squared. Your b is equal to what? B squared would be what? There's your equation. That's your answer. Number 8. We already talked about the centers at 0, 0. Would this be a horizontal or vertical orientation? I had two different ones. It's a horizontal. Because isn't, okay, if I'm at the center, I got 6 to the right and left, 4 up and down. So the major axis would be horizontal. Does that make sense? Okay, so what would be my A value? A is equal to what? 6. A squared is equal to, since it's horizontal, I'm going to put 36 under x squared. If you need to write that word out so you can see, go for it. B is equal to 4, so B squared is equal to 16. Once again, you see these zeros everywhere, so is your center's going to be at what? 0, 0. Now, let's talk about something here. It says vertex at 6, 0, negative 6, 0, focus at 2, 0, negative 2, 0. They didn't tell you the reverse thing, but it's something important there. What did I tell you? The focus is always located on the what? Major axis. Where are these points located at? Horizontal or vertical? They're all on the horizontal, aren't they? You see that? The focus comes between the center and your vertices on your major axis. So it's the horizontal. So your larger number is going to be under what? X squared. Now that we know that, looking at the vertices here, what is your A equal to? 6. So A squared is equal to what? So I got A squared is 36. Now, we do not know what this B value is. But there was an equation over here. C squared equals A squared minus B squared. You remember the foci equation? Now, but I do know my foci. My foci is 2. So C is equal to 2. So C squared is equal to what? 4. A was equal to 6. C is equal to 2. That's the distance from the center to one of the foci, C. So C squared is 4. Now I'm going to plug this into this equation. 4 equals 36 minus B squared. Move that 36 over, it gets negative 32 equals negative B squared. Divide both sides by negative 1. I get 32 equals B squared. Now, I don't take the square root of this because under here I want B squared, don't I? This is A squared, this is B squared, so I just put a 32 under, and that's my equation, so that it is. Yes?
This isn't like directly related, but...
Can it save it in the class because I need to get pieces out?
Yeah, yes.
Should have never opened up with that.
Well, it's not, but...
But thank you for doing that, for opening up with that. Now, Colin's mad because you didn't get me off subject, though. Number 10. Now, you look at this. Can you just say your center's at 0, 0? No, it looks a little bit more complicated than that, doesn't it? But let's look at what we talk about here. Our focus, our vertex is at 0, negative 4, and 6, negative 4. And our foci are at 1, negative 4, and 5, negative 4. Your foci is always on the same. Your foci is on the same axis as your major orientation, is it? So is it going to be a horizontal or vertical? Vertical. Do you see that? Let's graph it. Let's graph it so you can see. Let's graph it. Wait, you know what? That was wrong. This is the way you graph it. Sorry. Let's graph and see what we got going on. Mr. Hescher's messed that up. On these, I always graph, guys, just to make sure I know what's going on here. A little sketchy little graph. Zero, negative 4. Oop, right there, see? It's horizontal. There's your... I got time to answer this. Hello. All right. The foci is at 1, -4, and 5, -4. Okay. Now, this is how you can find the center. Watch this. Go in. Like, here's the foci, right here at this point. So your center would be right there. Do you see that? So your center's at 3, -4. Okay? Okay, I'm plotting here. Here's your foci. You just keep going until you find the number in the middle. So that's that's 3, -4. Alright, so I can go to my equation and write x minus 3 squared plus y plus 4 squared. So I got my center taken care of in my equation. Okay, I know that this is my major axis, isn't it? Remember, A is the length from your center to one of your vertices. So I'm going here. That's right here. That's 1, 2, 3. Do you see how that's 3 from here? 1, 2, 3. So if A is equal to 3, A squared is equal to what? 9. And I will put this under the X because it is the horizontal orientation. Now, I know my foci and I know my A. Okay, so let's see how far C is from here. From my center, C is 1, 2, isn't it? So C squared is 4. Do I have enough information to use that formula to find B squared? Yes. So now I'm going to use C squared equals A squared minus B squared. C squared is 4 equals 9 minus B squared. That's going to give me -5 equals -B squared. Divided by -1, 5 equals B squared. So that's going to be a 5 right there.
How'd you find C?
Okay, C is the length from your center to your foci. Here's my center, and I went 1, 2 units. Just counted over.
Except for A, you did the same thing.
A, I counted over to 3, yes. All right, let's look at number 11. Foci this and minor axis length of 4. I'm going to draw a picture to be safe. Alright, the foci is at 0, -3. Oh, yes. And 0, 3. The foci is on the vertical. So will it be vertical orientation or horizontal orientation? Vertical. So the larger value is going to be under the Y. Now, when you see that, where's your center going to be? 0, 0. So center is 0, 0. I'm going to put x squared plus y squared equals 1. Now, right now, we can't do anything else with the foci. Well, we know that, okay, so we know the foci, C value, we need an A value, we need a B value, we need a C value. We know the C value is from the center is how much? 3, so C squared is equal to what? 9. We got that. Now, the minor arc deals with B. Now, it is saying the entire axis is 4. Would B be 4 or 2? 2. Remember, the AB is from the center to one of the vertices. Right there, they tell you the entire minor axis is 4. So what would you put for B? 2. Do you understand that? Take half of that. So B is 2. B squared is 4. Okay. So they're telling you the entire... Okay. So we know that the major axis is right here. So the minor axis over here is going to be 4. The entire thing is 4. You wouldn't put 4 for B. B is from the center to one of the vertices. So if the entire thing is 4, half it from here to the center to one of them is 2. That's why I put 2 for B. Okay, now I can go on and graph that. If you want to see a visual there. Now I'm going to use that formula. C squared equals A squared minus B squared. C squared is 9 equals A squared minus 4. Oh. Yeah. No, foci tells you C.
But like on the, I see what you're saying.
Does that make sense? All right, so my B is 4. I add that over, it's going to be 13. Does everybody see that? All right, so okay, where would this 4 go? Would that go under the X or the Y? X, because that's your minor. And where would 13 go? On the Y. Does that make sense? All right, I want you to try number 12. All right, vertices at 0, 4, 0, negative 4. What will your center be? 0, 0. So I have x squared plus y squared equals 1. Don't put stuff up this last one. Alright, so let's look at what we have here. Now they tell you the major axis length is 10. Well, we have these vertices. Let's see if this is 10 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's an axis, but is that your major one? No, because you just plotted these vertices. That's a length of 8. They said the major axis is 10. So is this this is your minor axis? You see that? So what type of orientation would this have? Horizontal or vertical? Horizontal, because the major is going to be on that. Does that make sense? We'll continue that tomorrow. I need you to do 20 to 21 on page 9 and 23 to 26. It's 6 problems. 20 to 21, page 9, 23 to 26. We're going to continue this tomorrow and then review everything and have a test. Circle quiz tomorrow. If you need to watch videos, please watch them.